All right. Uh, so PC crashed. I lost some annoying progress. Uh, I got to the point where I was doing Lighting 2.0. Uh, because it was actually able to maintain some changes, for a fair amount of changes, but not. But that was still like basically the stream's worth of actual work and development. Uh, Now it's lagging again, or it's just like not responding to my like inputs. Okay, cool. Now it's doing weird shit with my inputs. What is it? Oh, it's trying to do this annoying thing that it does sometimes. No, I don't. Hold on, I have a thing for this. I have. Luckily, I know what this bug is. It's a bug with my art tablet. It's like software. Okay, let's see. Is it? Okay, but damn it, it's still trying to. Like, yes, I want my art tablet driver to work. Or let me just get this back to fixed to begin with. Okay. Let me try unplugging and replugging our tablet. It still thinks it's something else. Let me try moving it to a different USB port. Okay. No, why? Why are you doing this? Why? Okay, I'm saving this. Don't save. I didn't make any changes. Or no changes. Alright, let me... Okay, now it's convinced that it's a stupid thing that it's not. Like, and now it's like, oh, fucking... like, apply. Am I... Okay, cool, we're good. We're good? Yes, okay, so it's not trying to be anything else other than what I want it to. Let's get to the card betas, which should be charge. If I get to another card, I'll do that. Let's close this for now, because that's Neon Dynamo spoiler stuff. I don't want that to be revealed. We're just very small Neon Dynamo spoilers. No one's watching the stream, so it doesn't really matter. So that's the beta. Like, this is the card template I'm using. Got the text and all that. It's not a trading card game, though, despite this. Like, it does use cards, but it's not a trading card game. And now I've got the reference for Sixer. Cool. Everything's set up again. I'm going to redo the coloring of Sixer again. Because I don't know what happened. Let's get back to... Actually, let me just make sure I find that, and then we'll do like a pale... that. And, you know what, let's just say... Okay, nope, can't because of the stupid stuff I did. So what happened there was... uh, the PC was convinced that the art tablet it's like it has like a generic built-in thing for managing an art tablet that like lacks a ton of like the actual quality features, and basically just tries to treat the art tablet as if it's like a touchpad, like your screen on a phone. Because I'm pretty sure that Windows phones like have a lot like, or might even be like a just modified version of the same operating system. But like, point is, it just basically tries to turn it into like a phone screen, which is not what I want. I want like true full pressure sensitivity. I want the buttons I already mapped out. I try not to go in extremes in like any one way when I'm doing, because I went to some extremes with Sixer's first design. Like, these are very bright oranges and like a full red and a full yellow and like a full purple. Like, they are like max brightness all the way. And I'm going a bit outside the lines here, because I can close those in with paint, with the brush here. Like, I can close those in. Because make art, digital art is art you can make knowing knowing you have erasers, and not all your product like will be undone just because like something went wrong or something like that. Like, there's a safety to like what you can do in art, in digital art, which, if you think, like, you might argue that makes it less like real art or whatever, because you have the safety like to it, but it also means you can do more with it, or not do more. You can just be, like I said, more bold. You can be more experimentative. Like, you can experiment more. Experimentative, I don't even think is a word. That doesn't look nice. And there's some things you just can't do in digital art, and like I said, you can think that digital art is like inferior, and you know what? I won't even like blame you for that. I can kind of see it. I don't agree, but I can see it. I can see why you're getting to this like conclusion. I just, like I said, don't agree with it. I don't agree that any one form of art is lesser than another. I might not like a specific style of art, but I don't think any one style is like worse. Or inferior. To another. And I mean like that as a broad thing for like all art. Like, I mean all art. Music, film, video games. I don't think one is inherently inferior to the other. Writing, etc. Everything. But I also don't think that any one form of art is superior. Uh, uh, I'm just trying to think where I'm going with this rant now. Oh, let me actually get the color there, and then let's darken it some when we go back to shading. Now add this to the corners of this to make lighting. So, and I think you're trying too hard to prove, like, I think it's a sign of low self-esteem if you try to claim that any one form of art is worse than another. It's I feel like you're just afraid. Like, if you can bubble in your competition to only musicians, it makes you feel more secure in terms of who you are. Like, oh, and it also makes you feel like you're in like the right crowd, like I'm a musician, therefore I'm inherently better. And like I said, it's a way to like limit how much you're compared to. Because if you're a musician, and let's say you say music is inherently superior to all other forms, which I'm not saying musicians say this frequently. I'm just using it. It's a random word that popped in my head. It's a form of art. It's if you're like saying, oh, music is inherently like the best form of art. Uh, uh, and you're saying like all of like and if you even go the extra mile saying like, oh, all forms, like other forms of art are inferior, then I just feel that you're actually just afraid to count other forms of art in a discussion, because that means you have more competition to be put against, and it's a way to make yourself feel better. It's like, oh, I need to put this on. I need to put this on the liner. That's why it's not like getting much progress. I forgot that's something I had to do. Like I said, I didn't really want to do this for his fire because I didn't do it the first time, but I also had thinner line art the first time I did this. So created it created the effect more like naturally. Without me having to go over the line art. Alright. Now, every time I kind of complete something like this, like I have effectively completed the flame lighting. Now let me go to the proper lighting again, because I liked what I had here, where it's like all the sides are like reflecting some light. Also, I'm going to like actually get some more blue going on in there. That's, okay. Now let's add this kind of trail here. Let's build up the trail a bit more. Oh, and let's also add a bit more of like a kind of like glow to the like main fire, because it is technically a fire around Sixer's die. Which is like important for like context. Oh, and there's something else I did, and that was I added the blue to the surrounding of the flame, which I want to go a bit lighter first. Now, this is kind of going into actually like lighting the primary body a bit more. I consider this art style kind of it's not the same, but it's got a bit of overlap with the Frog and Toad books and that kind of storybook style. Like, I'm not saying I'm as good as that artist. Because I don't think I am. I don't think this art style is actually comparable, but it just reminds me of seeing some parts of it. I think I'll add a bit of the overlap even beyond. Like, just cancel it. I already made the line art thinner for this specific reason. But now let me add some shading to reflect this. So because this is darker like metal, it's going to reflect and like shine on the fire some. But this is not metal, and therefore is going to reflect it more broadly. This will still catch the metal reflection. This will still catch some of it. But this stuff back here like won't. Like even this will. But now we gotta transition into. Let's go. I'm going to make an entire separate layer for this of the spear lighting. I was going to save because I did some of the basic like flame lighting adjustments. It doesn't look that dynamic, and the original shading I did is going to look a little weird right now because I've only shaded like how the flame is affecting everything. But now we're going to get into how the spear is affecting everything. Because the spear has its own lighting. And it's worth noting that there's a background to this I've turned off for the sake of like making sure I've got clean light on it and I'm not missing anything. Because sometimes when I have backgrounds, it fills in stuff, and I miss small details that become like outright mistakes. So this is what like the primary lighting is going to be for everything else. I've realized a bit like too late now that there's a bit too much of like the perspective's a little weird on this. Like the spear should be a bit more flat rather than like kind of going this way. But I think it will look fine in the end. Let me specifically shade this bit like that. Give this a bit more dimension to it. This is something I meant to do before this thing crashed, but then it did, so didn't really get to fix it. And also, let me center like the core handling there. Add a bit more darkness shading to stuff immediate to it as well. And now let's go back to the light. Let me actually just go to the normal lighting layer. And go, actually, I'll have to do it here. I'm going to add a bit of like a white kind of side to it, to the points of the spear that are connecting to it. To once again add to this idea that this is like actually like a multi-pronged thing. Should I add some like stuff that makes it like clear that this is like, I think I should. Yeah, I'll do this. Gives it a bit more dimension. Now let's, but since it's in the background, I keep it with a very thin, like shape, like line art, so it kind of blends back a bit, like like it isn't that distracting. But I will shade it still. Very harshly I'll shade it. Okay, I am on the shading layer, so. God, it's really hard to like actually get some shading done on this for some reason. Did I? Huh. Like, am I like? Did I accidentally color on the shading layer? No. Why is this like so hard to? Oh, it's because of the lighting. That's why. That's. I have to really shade the hell out of this then. I thought maybe I had colored on the shading layer, and that's like why. 'Cause sometimes that's a thing. I guess I could go to the the yellow lighting and softly very softly reduce it a bit to increase the shading there. And to hell with it, I'm gonna do the full thickness lines. It's a little too like. Yeah, it's very subtle, but I want to get like there. It just looks a little nicer. It's a very subtle thing, but I'm trying to actually look somewhat professional. I like that the game has this kind of indie vibe and like tone to it, but I want to actually still make it feel like in some capacity like it's produced by someone with some actual like talent and like skill. So now that we've done this, we'll get to the lighting 2.0, and we're going to use this kind of like a pale yellowish to actually do some lighting, and I could make it even like paler. It's a little too overtly like there right now. So let's okay, and it gets duller as it goes down. And now let's broaden it out a ton to fill in a bit more, to fill in more area of light. And now we're going to add a bit of sheen and like shine there. Now let's make it like a subtle decrease into the rest of the shield, which we're going to still add reflection back here because the shield actually would keep a bit of like the lighting there. And let's say for the sake of just like general lighting, it's a little weird, but for the sake of like revolving the entire art piece around the spear, the charge, this is like important to like kind of like reflect. So the hand is now getting caught between two sort of lightings. That's kind of interesting. Let's also add this there. Yeah, so I think Sixer is pretty shaded at this point. Like, let's see how this all looks with the background. All right, so pretty good so far, in my opinion. Let's get some actual shadow work. So this is going to be his back foot there. Then it's going to retreat back into the center there. Then we have the second leg there, or it's there. I'm moving on. My eyes are like moving around faster than my mouth is. And let's try to let's see, what are the starburst visual features? Where are they again? Are they here? Yeah, they are. Let's try. Okay. Now let's get on top. And now let's add actually, let's see, how does that look? It's a little, okay, let's try, let's see, how does, wait, what? I don't really, okay, let's see, is this yeah, I'm trying to add some, like, degree of motion line. There we go. It's like towards the, yeah, that's good. So now let's add some extra glow lighting to these kind of like spark points. That's still not okay. Actually, let's go forward. No, never mind. That's better. Now I want to add a bit of like lighting to these action lines, and it creates this kind of like, whoa, look. And this is kind of taking the place of like normal action, like lines. Does this like look? Okay, how does like this look? That doesn't look nice. How does like that looks like a complete card. Like conveys like movement, it conveys like energy. I like how this card turned out. Let's see which one. I think we only need like one or. Oops, nope, not that. Like one of these I think is actually kind of good. Okay, I like how that one was positioned. Which one's the... Let's add these more as like a, yeah, thickness kind of to them. Let's... Okay, these are fine. Actually, let me get to that. Just add a few more going to the other. Because it creates this like a real sense of like energy to like the point. Like this is immense movement. also add like this kind of like sense of like, yeah, it's a bit too much. I guess I'll add now. Let me go to the line art actually. Let me go to real pen, like rough pencil. Let me try. Actually, might be better if it's more subtle. Like, just add to this idea of like movement, speed, stuff's going on. Like, there we go. And this is also like one of the biggest damage dealing attacks in the game. So it's important that it's like this, and also it was, in my opinion, one of the best looking cards of the first draft. Which if I go to the first draft here, I'll show off some of the work. Sixer had two cards that I think were great visually, which were Bolt and Charge. And then Quick Step and Shield and Swing, which, boring names, boring cards. They were just kind of objects. Whereas this, I think, conveys like a actual like power. It conveys like energy. I should just call it Beta Charge. Yeah. Like this is something I would want like printed, like high quality. And not all cards will have like these like yellow action lines. This is something kind of exclusive to this card because this is sort of a service to what was like the best card art. Let me pull up Discord and see if I can let me hold on, do this real quick. Just okay, so Discord's popping up there. Cool. I didn't want it to pop up in my like other thing just in case. Whoops, I didn't. I have to so let me make sure I'm exporting it over. Yeah, make sure I'm not getting two files there. I have to reduce it down to 50. Or not 501, 50. Otherwise, Discord can't really handle it. Let me copy that and send this to some of my friends. There we go. This is, I like that I have a bit more of a sense of like an art style. I also cleaned up some of the design of Sixer some from some of its quirks. So now that I've got that done, I don't know if I'm going to complete Sixer's moveset today, but I definitely can work on it more. I think I'll do, what's another move? That I could do that would be good for Sixer. Let me also just test. I need to pull something up real quick, and that is Okay. Let me find a card that had a lot of card text. And now let me just try to see. This is a bit of a teaser to a character that will come later, but it's important for testing this. Moves. Neat. To her opponent. So I can slightly move this up a bit. And yeah, that will work. So that's one of the longest card descriptions. So if that's if that can work, first I'm going to copy and paste this into uh, so this was just me testing card spacing. I don't know if I want to move on to another card or not. Yeah, might as well. Let's see. I got Chaotic Charge. I'm pretty satisfied with that card. Like, Sixer's a little small in it, but that's like kind of fine by me, in my opinion. I should probably keep that open though, just in case I want to use oh, not the I should keep the charge so I have coloring reference. Instead, let me. What's a card that I think would be? I'm gonna do the two kind of cards that look the best in the original, and that is. So this is, let's move this here. If I'm actually doing this card art, there we go. Okay, this is immediately going to be awkward. that's a bit nicer formatting. And recharge. Move this up a bit. Yeah. Blinding Bolt is Sixer is like a weird kind of area in the game because he has some of like the strongest uh, 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 all right. All right. Let's get to. Nope. Some actual. So let's get to some sketching. This is something that wasn't shown off before, but okay. So accounting for the size of the page. I think that's good. Actually, no, he's a bit big. Let's get this as a whole and shrink it down a lot. I kind of want him to be a bit distant for this one to make the bolt, it's like the bolting cloud itself a bit more grand. Oh, I need to be on rough because that's the better brush. I still don't even like that one where it's like positioned. And now let's get ourselves a. This is something I need to get down, and that is. I need to make sure the bolt itself looks good. And it doesn't even need to be like actually in like a thundercloud like the first one was. I just want it to look nice, just like and now here is where things will get like very complicated and intricate. And this is going to be a very complicated one to do. Like that last one wasn't that complicated in terms of what I was like setting up to do, but was in terms of what the end result was going to be. Like it was fancifying uh, something that wasn't that like impressive in its base, because it's just a guy like leaning over, like moving technically. That's all like charge actually boils down to at its base before you like fancify it. But this one inherently is complicated. Uh, and I think the funniest concept of this is that it's that, like, Sixer has some pretty, like, in my opinion, like epic and like fantastical designs to like that I've planned for him. Uh, but like he's a dice monster. He's like that's what his appearance boils down to. He's dice-headed kind of freak. Uh, uh, I have to keep the lightning thin. I think that's pretty like important. Is like the or like stop doing what I'm doing like there, and it's like make these like triangular shapes when it really should be like more kind of boxy. And this is another one I'm going to fancify the hell out of. Uh, uh, it's going to look more like a tree right now. Because what I'm trying to do is show like the gaps in like the lightning. Because last time I did this piece of art, I like I used a tool to do it. Which it made a cool looking prototype product, but it wasn't that like actually like it wasn't actually something I really like put work into and made like a good thing with. I want to challenge myself to actually use like real quality like art stuff, like techniques to make a good finished product. That's okay. That's not how lightning works. Uh, uh, there we go. Some of this will be repetition because I want to make sure I've got a good design for the thunder, like the lightning bolt itself. I think that is the most important thing for this card. Because this is a card you're going to be wanting to use a lot because it's a strong. It's the second card in the game that has some serious like 4 damage, or it's not that it's there are very few cards in the game that have like true like 4 damage potential. Uh, uh, and they all are somewhat situational, like uh, uh, and they all have recharge, which is you can't play the card in succession. So something I'm trying to get with like the lightning is this, like the spiky kind of like like wildness to it. I want okay this piece. Okay, this like flare right here is just not interesting. It's not nearly dynamic enough. And I'm gonna work my way like inwards. There we go. That's, you know, maybe just like one big thing like there. I'll add a bit more to it, but I'm gonna keep this one like a bit simpler. Try to keep it in angles, avoid curves, 'cause, like lightning doesn't have that many curves to it, really. But it does have a lot of like sudden bends. And this is also something I should be doing is the weird, like, this is kind of what I was trying to do at an earlier point, but like the weird kind of gaps you get in lightning. So I'm going to do like a series of mini ones here, like let's there we go. And there we go. I'll add like a double, like crackle like there. Let's get some stuff going on over here. I don't even have to draw the full scale of this one. Or of that one. I don't want to like do like a full streak there, but like there. Let's actually branch some of these off into their own like things. Once again, try to capture like this feeling of like energy and scale. Let me put this one into like something a bit bigger. All right, let's. I think I'll go for like another one. Now I'll just eliminate anything that doesn't look good. Add stuff that I think does. And it looks like weird kind of now. But you have to remember I'm going to add like coloring, glow, everything like that to it. That's going to change how it looks a notable amount. Now, to pay a bit of homage, to the original, I'm going to add a bit of like rocks like flying around and all that. And you know, let's also like add some like extra lightning going like around. Here, like maybe. Yeah, I'm not really feeling like those. And I added this big one here. I'm going to add like a notably let's add like a medium-sized rock here. And then you have to remember he has his shield here, and he's also his weight's also kind of here. I'm also going to add the fire like stuff like that. So let's to add a bit of like a, once again, to make this feel like kind of grand and like immense, I'm going to make it so his fire is just kind of going like everywhere. To make it like feel like this is like an immense use of his power. Obviously, it's going to look nicer when I like line over it properly, but let's also just in general. This is where I'll add bits of like extra electricity, I think. Let me shrink this down to be a bit. Let me do that, and then create like, I think that's how I should have done. Okay. So that's, yeah, Sixer's fire. The base of his shirt there. His shirt will be like pop, like flowing up like that, bound by his belt. His sword is there. In its sword, in its hilt. Let me thin his belt some. It's a little thick in the way I was trying to. That's, should I reposition the sword? I think I should, because it's not like lined up right now. It's it should be more like yeah, that's that, and the circle here. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. Arms go like way up there. So he's going to look a little weird when he's unfinished. He always kind of does. Let me also make sure he had, especially because so much is billowing in his design right now. also, I haven't drawn his shield, which should, yeah, typically obscure his like forearm would be about like that scale. Now I have to get a circle going. Like that. And let's get a, let's actually get like an armband there. Studded down. So since the fire is actually like fairly transparent, we can actually draw the full shield a bit more. And since we're looking on the inside of the shield, I'm not going to draw its outline, its like golden outline. This is very classic Final Fantasy, I've never even played the Final Fantasy series. It's just from like what I do know, I could see this being like a limit break or something like that. I'm trying to draw like more distant. You know, I don't think the drawing itself is bad. I think it's positioned bad. Let me do this one too. Actually, I should probably just like have redrawn it from scratch. I need to pick like a direction I'm doing this all from. Like this one, like these two aren't that. I take it back because I wasn't thinking about like what makes sense from like a perspective standpoint of like, no, there should be a sense of like this is leaning this direction and I'll go consistent with that. Is that hand? It's a little bit smaller, so I'll at that. And this is okay, so I'll learn from last time to just stop trying to do like two angles at the same time. This one actually will be slightly like that though. his legs aren't long enough, I just realized. So I'm just going to ignore what I have already. And draw his shoe, or like the outline of where it should be. Or shoes. Oh wait, that's not, okay. I mistook something for something else, and okay. I have more room to work with the there we go. I can enlarge this one a bit. And we'll continue with this estranged belt that somehow keeps his shoes on. I acknowledge that it really doesn't make much sense. So let's see, how did I just did 3. So all 1, 2, 3, 4. Like I don't ever want to draw how his belt works, or like the actual shoe part of his like or like the buckle works. I think it's a little funnier visually, or just like a. I just like it visually if there's no buckle, because then it makes it like look a little too Sonic-y, which was a comment I had on my first design with him, where there was a buckle. But it wasn't that it was too Sonic, it's just that it was Sonic, and I was like, I want this to feel a little more distinct than that. So instead I'm just going for like this general kind of like look. So let's also, I just realized I don't even need to draw like that much of that. And now let's get his belt buckle. Okay. Yeah, I guess I'll draw this for like consistency, because it might look a little weird if I don't draw like the ring around it. Or like the iron around it, like cementing like the wood. It's painted wood. It's not like anything special, like shield material wise. Like what's the only thing special about it is that Sixer enchants it to be more powerful than it is. Is Sixer's die a little small here? It is. It's like, it's notably small. Oops. also way bigger in like brush size at this point, but it doesn't really matter because the overall like end result will be bigger. Anyway, like the darker lines. So 3 is on this side. 5 is on top is what I've decided. 2 is in the back. I guess I'll make 1 at the bottom. Actually, I'll make 1 in the back, and this will be 5. Or this will be 4. Let me also make sure I have his like his spear like point and like visible because it's in another card, so it's gotta be like there. Which, if you look at the length of the spear, I am well aware it couldn't like fit properly. But this is, I guess, a suspension of disbelief. It doesn't look visually like that good, in my opinion, for him to have like this, have like a realistic spear. Like it should be like over here, but he already has the like the weight there, and he's already very heavy on this side. So the spear is just like that. And I am going to use the starburst. It's like here again. Like, let's say, like, whoa, look at that, or like, whoa, like, whoa, look at that, whatever. Like, you get the like the loose idea. Like, behold its power, whatever. It's I'm just not like there yet. So now this is where I'm going to be polishing up a lot of the lines in general, but I'm also going to you know, I think I'm done. I'm glad that I've outlined this art today, but I kind of want to finish it because I've already set up what the cards are going to look like today. I've finished charge, and I've done the basic setup for this. I think I'm like good for today because I have a fair amount of free time before I will even have like the money to make this an actual thing. So I'll save this here, and then I'll end the stream here.